is. Y'all had a lot to say about stupid TV. What I think is hysterical, though, is the people who are just so confident that they're right and they're totally misguided. Like these people who are like, why do you care about a TV in an RV? You should be camping, not watching TV.
Yeah, because all you do when you go camping is you're always in the beautiful outdoors and weather is always oh so super amazing.
Yeah, or if you're like us and you're full timers, unless you don't watch TV at all, you're not just gonna all of a sudden never watch TV again just because you move into an RV. Welcome to the Wandering RV Podcast, your bi-weekly source for our stories,
Our screw-ups.
and our successes living the full-time RV life. I'm your host, Kara, the Wandering RV Babe, and this is my driver, Ryan.
Get out of here, you noobs.
So, our main topic today is all of the ways that we can tell that you're a newbie when you go camping and how to not look like a newbie when you go camping. But first, where are we at today, babe?
We are barely in Florida, but as of recording time, our family is freezing in Texas. I feel so bad for them, kind of, except for the fact that we went out for sushi last night in t-shirts and shorts.
Yeah, we totally did. We did not wear our jackets because we were sacrificing in solidarity with our friends and family that is in the frozen tundra of the rest of the U.S. right now. But wait a minute, you said barely in Florida. What does that mean?
Well, as we discovered last night, it was 45 minutes to the sushi restaurant on Navarro Beach. Oh, by the way, last weekend we went to Mobile to the USS Alabama, which is 45 minutes away.
So it was the same distance to go to Mobile, Alabama that it was to get to that sushi restaurant last night.
We're not in Texas anymore, babe. So the main topic is going to be about the 5 unwritten rules of camping etiquette. And so I wanted to Google and just see, like, is this something other people run into or feel as well? But what I ended up coming out with was that apparently December 2022 was the lowest number of RV purchases in 6 years, half of the number of RVs sold compared to 2021. But KOA is reporting record numbers of campers for the entire year of 2022, almost 1.5 million more than 2021. What's going on? Record low camper sales, but record high camping.
Well, yeah, they all bought their campers in 2021.
Clearly, everyone figured it out and was like, okay, we're going to go camping. And they bought their RVs in 2021, hit the road in 2022. But does that mean we're going to have like an influx of used campers on the market?
Oh, 100%. There's gonna be people that buy a camper because they think it's a cool idea and they go out with it once or twice and they figure out that it actually is a lot of work to be in a camper and take camping road trips. And then they're gonna be like, nah, and they're gonna sell it. Okay, people, it's time to stop being a noob, and we're gonna show you how to not look like a newbie when you get to a new campground by going through the top 5 unspoken campground etiquette rules.
That is a mouthful.
Top 5 unspoken campground etiquette rules. Try it. Say it 10 times fast. Go.
Top 5.
Yeah, you can't. Just move on.
Number 1. Do not distract others while they're hitching or unhitching their rig. Seriously, don't do it. They don't need your help to back in. If they need your help, they will ask you. Just stand to the side, get out of the way, and enjoy the show. Grab some popcorn and a beer and watch and laugh at how poorly maybe they do it. But don't try and help. Don't. Seriously, I do not know how many times somebody's been trying to help us back in, and I'm like,
You're making it worse. You're making it worse.
just stop. Me and my wife have a system. All I need to do is hear her voice and not yours. You're talking too much. We did have somebody really nice one time. We went to an RV park in Fort Pierce, Florida, and the gentleman there helped us back in, and he was just really nice, really efficient, and really quick about it. That by the time I was gonna say, "Hey, me and my wife can do this," we were already done. So I was like, you know what? Great.
He was a pro for sure, but that is not normally the case. And I agree with you. Friday night entertainment at a campground is legit. Just sit out front, grab some popcorn and a beer, and just watch the magic happen. It's fantastic. The other thing though that I would say about that is you may want to go and like say hi to your new neighbor that just pulled in, and that's great. Camping is inherently very social, but wait until they're done tearing down or unhitching or hitching. Don't do it during the process because they might be in task mode. They might be, working through their mental checklist. And if you distract them, even if you're just saying hi or saying goodbye to them because they're leaving, you could totally mess them up and they could forget something really important and then get halfway down the road and, they forgot to lock down the hitch on their camper or something like that. It's not good.
No, no, no. Yeah, we've seen the horror stories of people getting distracted and missing one little item on their checklist. Don't be the person who caused that to happen. It's still the other person's fault. It's not your fault. But don't contribute. Don't help. Just stand there, watch, and if they want to say something to you, let them say something to you. The campground we actually just left over in Tampa, the couple who was right next to us, they were in like a double wide, so they don't really travel in a camper, and they were trying to say goodbye to us while we were trying to get set up to head out. And I was like, okay, I'm stopping what I'm doing, putting a pause on all my activities so I can say goodbye to them and then restart back where I was at because I did not want to miss a step.
Yeah, well, and we double checked too, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Because, yeah, it happens, but it's not ideal when you get interrupted. Rule number 2, be clean with everything that you do, especially with your sewer connections. Make sure that they're sealed and that it's threaded properly and everything. You don't want that stuff going everywhere. It's
Yeah, most
gross.
people don't realize this. The elbow joint that you get with most sewer packs, it has threading on it, and a lot of the receivers at campgrounds have the reverse threading on it, so you can actually screw that elbow joint in, and it'll stay locked tight and really airtight, so you're not getting those off gases coming off around. Sometimes there's campgrounds that don't have the threading, and it is what it is. I usually try and throw like a brick or a sandbag on top of it, but when there's threading, take advantage of that because that will really stop a lot of the smell from leaking out and make the campground smell better. And then if you take care of everything, it'll look better.
That's true. The other thing is don't rinse your sewer lines at the water spigot because you could introduce contaminants into that water spigot if you come in contact with it. So rinse your sewer lines with your gray tank flush instead and just don't mix the two. It's gross. Your neighbors that are coming in after you are going to appreciate it.
Black tank flush.
Black tank flush. You know what? You're the one who does all the flushes. So terminology, it's a flush. You understood what I mean, people?
Also,
Tank flushes.
there are a few campgrounds that do like trash pickups. Don't put your trash bags out until the last minute at night because those bags will attract critters. They'll attract rats,
Bears.
gators, bobcats. Yeah, we've seen bobcats. Don't put it out too early. If they come through and pick it up, just wait till the last minute right before you go to bed and take it out there.
Well, a lot of them will tell you not to put it out until the next morning.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Don't leave it out overnight.
And if you have a dumpster on site, they don't come pick it up, then take it to the dumpster. Don't leave it.
Don't leave it at your site, please.
It's just A, it attracts the animals. B, it just looks trashy.
Yes. Trash looks trashy. Oh my goodness, you and your dad jokes are on point today.
Number 3, do not walk through people's sites.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big no-no. And I'll be honest, I don't know that I personally care a ton about it if they're far enough away from my camper. But if they're like walking like a foot or two away from my camper, I'm staring out those windows trying to see what they're doing. But just in general, just stay off people's sites. Yes, you and your neighbor are going to have a little bit of crossover. Obviously, your sewer side is going to be on their relaxing side, and so you're going to have to walk over onto their site, and that's totally understandable. But we were at this campground, I don't even remember where, probably like, I don't know.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
And the campers were all kind of in the center on a row, and the garbage can was on the opposite side of the side that we were on. So in order to get to the dumpster, we had to either walk through the site right behind us or walk all the way around. And when we didn't have anybody right behind us, no big deal. I walked straight back. It was nice. But when we had somebody back there, which was majority of the time, I would either walk all the way around or I'd try and line up taking the trash when I was getting out and going to the grocery store, running errands.
But we did have people walk through our site to get to the trash can, and it was really annoying. It's like when you're at that site, that's your yard space for that time. It's just like you have your own personal bubble and you don't necessarily want people creeping up on your personal bubble. This is your camper bubble. This is your RV bubble.
You have an RV bubble.
The other thing I think that goes with that is if you go knock on your neighbor's door, this is less of an etiquette thing and more of just like a safety thing. But if you go knock on their door, step off of the stairs, like step back onto the ground, so that if they open their door, they don't hit you. A lot of camper doors open to the outside, and it'll cover the first 2 or 3 steps of the stairs, and you could get hurt and then fall off. Plus, just stepping down to the ground helps them, because most campers don't have a peephole, so it helps them if they're going to look through the window and see who's there, that they can see you more clearly.
Yeah, it's kind of a safety thing. I mean, think about it. We're in just a giant tin box, so knowing who's at the door before I open it or unlock it especially just makes me feel a little bit safer in general.
Number 4. This is my big one. This is my biggest pet peeve. People who leave their fucking cap lights on. Don't leave your cap lights on. Actually, for that matter, don't leave any of your outdoor lights on at night when you're not sitting out there enjoying the nighttime. If you're going to bed, don't just leave them on all night.
Tell me how you really feel.
That is how I really feel. Here's the thing. First of all, if you have people who are wanting to stargaze, which camping is a perfect opportunity to stargaze. Those lights are so bright, it will wash out the sky, and you can't see any stars. Second, most of those lights, because of where campers and camper spots are located, they are going to be shining in somebody's bedroom. And that is really, really annoying when you're trying to go to bed, and there's this bright blue or pink or purple or white light that's shining in your face all night long.
As a recap, for those who don't remember, cap lights are the lights that are on the front of campers. They're on fifth wheels a lot, but they're just outdoor lights for decorative reasons.
No, they're not decorative. They have a function. Use them for their function.
And then you also have lights usually at the door so you can get in and out. And most people leave those on if they're going out and they know they're going to come back home after dark. No big deal. Or they turn them on when they go outside, but just turn it off before you go to bed. Also, to that point, if you have an outside TV or an outside stereo system, don't have it turned on and blasting if you're not out there. If you're out there enjoying it, great, no big deal. Campground probably has like quiet hours, obviously respect that, but just in general, don't have it on blasting in your neighbor's ears when you're not out there to enjoy it. However,
it is funny though when people have it playing and they don't even know it's playing.
Yeah, know your stereo system because there's probably a button or a switch or something on your remote that's going to turn the outside on or off and the inside on or off. So just make sure you realize which one is the outside versus the inside. I've heard so many stories from people. We've experienced it where somebody's just watching their TV show at night in their camper listening to the show and they've got it blasting out the sides like, well, we know what your favorite show is.
Yeah, there was one time we were at a campsite and there was somebody, they were watching like CSI or something like that, and you could tell they just kept turning it up and up and up, and you know, you could tell that they were like, I can't hear it, and they were inside their camper. It was literally on blast outside the camper. The rest of the campground could hear whatever show they were watching, and they're just sitting there oblivious to it. Thankfully, somebody did go knock on their door, like was very sweet to like let them know, hey, it's on outside, and they were, you know, they then realized, oh, that's why I can't hear it inside. But just, yeah, be aware of that. Know your camper, know all those buttons, and make sure that you're not blasting out your neighbors with your outdoor stereo or outdoor TV.
And if you do make that mistake, make sure you're watching something that's okay.
Yeah, theirs was CSI. It was pretty tame, but whew, there could be some interesting pastime activities going on with some of those shows. Number 5. There's usually rules at campgrounds about dogs, but you also need to be responsible for your tiny humans. That's your kiddos for you parents. The entire campground is not their playground. So don't let them run amok and make loud noises or get into the neighbors' campsites. We were at a campground one time and there were kids playing hide and go seek and they were running behind the sewer connections for some of the campers and underneath campers and things like that. One, it's not safe for them to do that, and two, if they were to kick over that sewer connection, that would make a mess.
Yeah, just in general, like let kids be kids. Sure, we want everybody to have fun. It's just more about again, kind of respecting all the rules and helping to keep track of your kids. We've just seen it too often where parents kind of sit around the campfire and their kids are just running everywhere. But I want to also say, yes, campgrounds usually have rules about dogs, but you also need to be aware of your dog and its tendencies. I almost, not almost,
You did
I
get bit.
I got bit.
Yeah.
The skin did not break, but I got bit because I was walking through our campground. I think I just dropped the trash off or something and saw this really beautiful old Airstream. And I happened to be walking by, waved, said hi to the couple that had it, and they said hi. And I told them they had a beautiful camper, and they invited me to come take a look at it. The entire inside had been refinished, and it was really, really beautiful. But as I'm walking up, the wife was holding her dog, and as I walk up, she sets the dog on the ground and it goes berserk and literally comes after me and bites me on my finger. Luckily, it didn't break the skin, and it was a really small dog, so it wasn't really all that dangerous. Well, maybe not. I guess maybe small dogs could be dangerous.
That could be.
Yeah, like you know your dog's tendency. Like the worst part about it was she had the dog in her hands and she chose to put it down and then proceeds to after he or she bit me, be like, "Oh yeah, he or she is very protective of me." And I'm like,
Then you should have held on to
"Then
him.
hold on to the dog." And I'm not going to say I'm the dog whisperer, but I'm usually pretty good with dogs and it's not like I approached aggressively. She just happened to put the dog on the ground as I'm already walking up, and it goes to bite me.
Yeah.
So, not just know your dog's tendencies. Just be mindful. Follow the campground rules. Pick up the poops and all the other stuff. Keep them on a leash if you're supposed to. But if your dog is going to be aggressive, then maybe don't have your dog out when people are coming by to say hi.
Especially if you invite them over.
Yeah.
That was like, here, come on over, and like a bait and switch.
Yeah, no, just be mindful of your dog's tendencies and all that, yada yada
You know what time it is, babe?
yada. I have a guess.
It is time for the pick of the week. This is our new segment. We introduced it last episode, and you guys are the ones who picked the name. So we weren't sure what to call the segment. We were trying to think of something cute. We sent out a blast on social media asking for ideas, and pick of the week is what everybody came up with. So that is what we're rolling with.
So if it's generic and boring, it's your own fault.
Exactly. But yeah, our pick of the week this week is what? You're the one in charge of picking it this week. So what was it?
I did. So I was thinking about like campground etiquette and things like that and people kind of approaching the camper, and I started thinking about camera systems. So there's kind of a little bit of confusion and misunderstanding on what all camera systems do and don't work in an RV. And so what I wanted to say was they all work to a certain degree. So
I like that.
obviously you've got the main RV camera systems from companies like Furrion, which a lot of RVs nowadays are getting built with it already on there or with the mounting stuff already prepped for it and pre-wired. What that is a camera system that wires into the 12-volt and runs wirelessly to a receiver that you can view the cameras with. So the idea would be that you might have the receiver up in your truck when you're backing in, and so there's a camera in the back so you can back your RV in without having to have somebody necessarily spotting you. A lot of them also have a mounting spot for above the main doorway so that way you can have it inside the RV if somebody comes and knocks on your door. Again, most RVs don't have peepholes. So you could look at the receiver and be like, "Oh, I see who that is. That's so and so, down at site, yada yada yada." because you're going to naturally memorize all the people in your campground and what site they're at.
Some people do.
That's true, actually.
There are some campgrounds, especially the ones that are catered to long termers. Wow, it's creepy how much they know and observe about you when you get there.
Oh, they know when you're leaving and everything. It's like we got to, we were at one of those and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we heard you guys were here for the month," and I was like,
Who are you?
so anyway, so that's an RV camera system, and there's a lot of different brands and versions and different ways you can hook it all up. Then there's home camera systems like your Ring doorbell and your, Ring's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
You were gonna just list off a bunch of them.
Your Nest doorbell and your Ring doorbell and all the accompanying cameras that go with it. So how this one differs is that it is internet based. So you can just hook it up, usually just put a battery in it and you can just screw it onto the wall. Great, very useful, very nice because it provides the camera and it provides a way for somebody to ring the doorbell rather than having to knock on the door. The problem is that it requires solid internet connection to really be useful because it's communicating up to Google or Amazon or whoever and then communicating back down to your phone instead of a direct wireless connection to the camera. So, if you're counting on using the campground Wi Fi, it's probably not going to work out real great for you to put one of those systems on. But if you're counting on having your own wireless system in your camper like we do, which is based off of Starlink, cellular, and sometimes the campground Wi Fi, then you might actually have a system that's capable of handling having one of those IP internet based cameras like the Ring doorbell or any of its accompanying cameras, which would be really, really useful when you're stationary. So we wanted to just call that out that like there are two different types of camera systems you can get for your RV, both with two different setups, but similar functionality and can provide some cross functionality depending on what your needs are. Obviously, the Ring doorbell or the Nest are great when you want to see what's going on at your camper when you're not there, but again, you have to have the internet. The Furion based systems or any of the others that just hook in and are wireless to a receiver, you're not going to be able to use those once you get maybe 40 feet away from your camper.
I actually have seen, though, for folks that go like the Ring doorbell route, where they'll put the little motion sensors that go on a door on the basement doors of the outside of their campers, so they know if for some reason they forget to close a basement door while they're setting up or, packing things away, or if somebody with sticky fingers tries to go and open up their basement door, it'll actually alert them. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way to use that system. Again, you just have to make sure you have that solid connectivity to be able to make it worth it.
There's a lot of great ways you can use security or camera based systems that are meant for a home in your RV. You're just going to have to figure out how it connects and whether or not you're going to have the infrastructure, as it were, to support it. So, we told you a couple weeks ago we launched our TikTok. We have our first fan question from TikTok, actually.
Yeah.
What are 3 things we would change about our RV? So I chose to interpret this as things that we ourselves would be capable of changing. Obviously, there's things that we would change about our RV that we're not going to be physically able to do. Like, we'd love to have that under basement storage we talked about last week at the Tampa RV show.
Yeah, that's a structural change. You just have to swap out your RV if you want that.
Exactly. So we did a TikTok response, but we wanted to cover it in the podcast a little bit longer. Number 1.
Dark interiors. Dark wood cabinets, dark wood trim, dark window treatments, dark furniture. The only saving grace in our camper is our floors are lighter colored and our walls are a little bit lighter colored. So it doesn't feel as much like a cave as some of the older ones that have just wood on wood on wood, but it does still feel dark and cave-like in here sometimes because a lot of the colors are dark.
Yeah, I think what I think we would probably do is any of the darker wood furnishings, we would probably just paint some sort of eggshell white type color just to kind of make it brighter. The window treatments we just completely replace or remove and with something that is less obnoxious, less in your face, and definitely less dark. And the window shades, we'd probably look for something that's like in a light gray or light tan color that still has the same kind of sun blocking ability, but maybe
They make white black out curtains for your RV. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, something that is just a lighter color where it doesn't feel so cave like, because it's a small space. And so, the darker it is, the more small and confined it feels.
And then after we finished replacing all of that, probably the thing that I would come back in and do is I would paint the entire entertainment system black. That comes from an AV type setup where you're trying to create as black of a background behind your TV or around your TV as possible. So by lightening everything else up, we could actually darken the entertainment center and really make it for optimal viewing. But we
Well,
have
and then it looks like an accent wall, too.
exactly, and but you have to do everything else first to make it feel light enough for you to even want to do that. Because if we did that now, it would just make the whole place look so much darker than it already is.
Yeah. The next thing that we would change about our camper is the wasted space above the cabinets. I don't know why they didn't reinforce the tops of those cabinets where we could actually store things that were a little bit heavier and a little bit more substantial, but they didn't. And so there's space up there on top of the cabinets where you could store stuff, and we do have some things that are stored up there, but we can't store anything that has any kind of weight to it, otherwise it would just fall right through.
So I'll describe it for those of you who can't maybe aren't visualizing it perfectly, but we have our kitchen cabinets are the main thing that we're talking about. Our kitchen cabinets stop about 18 inches below the ceiling, which is fine. We're not tall enough to be able to use that space for actual cooking storage.
Short people problems.
That's funny. So that's not a big issue. But then for the topper of the cabinets, rather than using anything substantial, they used a very lightweight, like millimeter thick. I
It's
don't
like
even.
particle board or
It's not.
something
I
like
don't even
that.
know if it's particle board. It's so lightweight. It feels more like cardboard. So if you put anything of too much weight, especially kind of in between the braces that are part of the main structure, you hit a bounce on the road and it's just gonna fall right through because it's not supported. It's not meant for storing things. So we have like paper towels, a soft-sided cooler,
When
and
it's empty.
when it's empty, yeah, a soft-sided cooler and like some extra foam padding that we use for travel day up there. But
That's it.
that's all we
That's
can.
all we can store.
So that's a big issue, and it's kind of annoying just because it's wasted space. Like you gave us these big high ceilings, but you're not really using it. It's great. It looks pretty. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely could have reinforced it better so that it could support a little bit more weight, and then just built the cabinet front to go all the way up to the ceiling. That way, when we do put stuff up there, it's not an eyesore and it's just tucked away.
And totally something that we could go through and do ourselves as well. We could go through, reinforce it, add our own structure to kind of support some stuff up there. And if we need to down the road, we will. But for right now, it's one of those things that's like, this is really annoying. I wish it was different, but we're not there yet. But number 3, we are doing something about it, the shower doors.
It is happening soon.
It is. So in our shower, it's a beautiful glass window, like 3-piece sliding window for the shower door, and it looks great in the showroom. But it looks gnarly right now because there is just no way to clean it fully 100%. First of all, to clean it, you're going to have to like pull out the big guns, all the special chemicals that you learned about, in chemistry.
You learned about special cleaning chemicals in chemistry?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna be pulling that out, and then because they slide together, they're kind of an accordion style. There's about a 1.5-inch gap where each of them slides over on each other, where you technically can't really get to that spot. So that spot's just building up.
Yeah, I have to like wedge the rag into those spots, like, so spray inside that little crevice really really good, and then wedge the rag in there, and then try to scrub with that rag just like wedged in between the crevice. It's annoying as all get out, and it takes me more time to clean the shower door than it takes me to clean the entire rest of the camper.
So we're gonna be removing those doors, and we're gonna be putting in a basic shower curtain, and we're gonna, just big thing with that is we're just gonna make sure we get the shower curtain bar that like can lock in on the walls, so that way it's not just held in by tension. There's also something that it sits inside of to kind of keep it from falling when we're bouncing down the road. That way we don't have to like take it down on travel day. That's really all that's about.
That shower door is going away soon.
So those are the three things. That was a fan question on TikTok. Please go follow us on TikTok. We're putting up RV tips, camper cocktails, just some fun videos of places we're visiting. Go check it out. All the cool stuff video wise is happening on TikTok.
So, thanks for listening. We'd love to stay connected. Again, we are on TikTok. We're actually on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. So, check us out on the social platform of your choice at Wandering RV Babe, or you can email us at podcast@wanderingrvbabe.com. And we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So did you see our neighbors doing laundry the other day?
Um, I've seen a lot of couples doing laundry.
Our like neighbors that were right next to us that were doing laundry the other day?
Oh, you mean the ones in the tiny little minivan that doesn't have a washer and dryer?
Yeah, it was apparently on spin cycle.
Oh man, they were testing that suspension. It was funny. So I know.
Talk about van life.
Yes.
Mini van life.
I know that our camper shakes when we're doing laundry.
Spin cycle. Yep, spin cycle.
And then our camper also shakes when we're spin cycling together.